Start with some dry yard debris. That could be leaves, twigs. Crush them into smaller pieces. Get the pieces as fine as you can. I like to put mine in the blender. Take 100% cotton balls. These are the large triple size ones. So what I do is I cut the single cotton ball into 3 pieces, and I cut those widthwise. Then make sure you'll need some sort of container to put these in. Just go buy a cheapo container. Make sure it's the small size. This is about the size of a Reese's peanut butter cup. And make sure that you get something that, you know, it's cheap, that you can scratch up, and it doesn't matter if you get wax stuck to it or whatever. Then I take one of those cotton discs and I pull it apart, and I have one for each disc. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of Vaseline on the top of each one of these. And then what I'll do is I'll heat the wax. And as I heat the wax, I'm going to add the material that I ground up, the sticks and leaves, fine material. I'll mix that with the wax, and I'll put some of that in there. I'll remove the cotton, put the wax mixture in the tin, and then I'll put the cotton back on top of it, and then I'll cover the cotton with wax. And then the Vaseline side of the cotton will be facing up. The reason I put the cotton in here first is just, first of all, to make sure I have enough to cover all the tins. Second of all, so I remember which side the Vaseline is on when they're facing up. So I'll just do this one at a time. Put it in, put that down, do it. I'm using paraffin wax that you'd use for kitchen canning and candle making. You can buy this at pretty much any grocery store. With mine, with these tins, it'll take about 1.5 blocks of paraffin wax. And just make sure that you kind of cut the wax into smaller chunks to help it melt faster. Then just keep it on a low, even heat. Make sure you melt your wax in a container that is acceptable for melting wax in. You don't want to ruin a good pot. You can use an old tin can for this if you want to. Okay, so you're going to remove this, remembering that I heated this up just a little bit at 150 in a toaster oven, just to kind of give it some warmth. I remember that the Vaseline is on the top, and I have paraffin wax paper on the below this. I'm going to turn it upside down with the Vaseline side down, and I'm going to put in the initial wax at the bottom. And then I'm going to put in some of the dry material, just a little bit. And then I'll add more wax to the top of that. And you can see that's bubbling in the wood's soaking all that in. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Vaseline side up and insert that and press it down into the wax material on the wood. And then I'm going to cover this all the way to the top with wax. Just like that. And what that's going to do, that wax is covering the Vaseline, and when I need this, I'm going to scratch it, get to the Vaseline, and I should be able to start it with a Ferseum rod quite easily. I'm going to do that for all of them. This is all of them full. You can see I started here, so you can see the wax is starting to get whiter, like the paraffin wax that came out of the box. This is the last one I did, so you can still see some of the wood material. I had a little extra wood material. I just threw it on the top of that one. There's cotton underneath it. But the cotton is fully encased in the wax, as is the wood. Now what I'm going to do is I'll take a knife and I'll go around the edge of these, and then just gently pry them loose, and they'll pop right out. And then you've got a great little fire starter, and I'll demonstrate one when they're done, when they're cooled off. And then once they've cooled, you just take them out. Here's what it looks like. And you've got a weatherproof, sealed fire starter bundle. And then what you'll do is you'll take your knife and you'll take the cotton side, which is on the top. And remember, we put the Vaseline portion on the top of the cotton, Vaseline side up. We'll kind of dig into the wax, stress some of those cotton fibers up that have some of that Vaseline on it, and we should be able to light that with the ferrocerium rod. So we'll give it a try. I've got this little pie pan. We'll take it outside and see if we can light one. All right, so I've taken my knife, inserted it, exposed the fibers in the cotton, and let's see if we can light it with the rod. And there it goes. Got a good start. And then once that starts catching, here it goes. Now with some of these I've been able to get a good 5 to 7 inch flame, which is plenty to light any kind of fire under just about any conditions. And you'll see it, that's good enough to get a fire started, and that's only the top portion. So these things will keep lit sometimes up to 15 minutes. And again, you need some sort of something to block the wind if you're outdoors when you're doing this. And I'm going to take it outside. And you can see it's really starting to get a good burn now, and I mean, it's just starting. It's only hitting the very uppermost part of just the cotton layer. It hasn't even reached the wood debris layer yet. But that flame is probably about 4 inches. And you know, if I had a wind block, and I don't have my windscreen with me right now, I would say it's probably get up to 5 to 7 inches. I'm trying to block where I see the wind coming with my hand. But look at that. About a good 5 to 7 inches. And I'll show it to you once it hits the wood section. Now it's starting to get into the wood material, and look at that flame. That's a good 7 inches. Easy. 7 to 9 inches. And it's been going for quite a while. Like I said, you can probably get these to last 15 minutes if you pack them well. And if you don't have any wind, probably helps. But you can see the wax puddling in the bottom of the pie pan here. But incredible fire starter. And keep some of these in your pack for emergencies. And you get stuck in a bad situation, it might be the best thing that's ever happened to you. But look at that fire. I mean, that's coming off well over 10 inches. Incredible. And that's just the start of hitting the wood portion. This is at 19 minutes right now. 19 minutes and it's still got at least a 3-inch flame coming off of it. Still a little bit of a flame at 25 minutes, but it's about to phase out. And again, your times will vary. It depends on, you know, the thickness of the wooded material and all that kind of stuff, how dry it is, and all those conditions. We had a pretty good wind blowing out here too, so that really speeds up the process. This one probably could have gone on beyond 25 minutes if the wind had slowed down, but it was kind of pushing it along. But anyway, it's just about out at 25 minutes.